Welcome back, everyone. London Diamond League this Saturday is going down. I already did a preview of the men's 100 meters, so check that video out if you haven't already. But let's dive in with all the other sprints, jump, and hurdle events that are going down. I really like the different fields that they've assembled for this London Diamond League. Specifically, that men's long jump, I'm excited for it. But let's dive right into it. Men's 400. Now, I've been very intrigued about the landscape of the men's 400 really this year, coming off the Paris Olympics, where Quincy Hall got the gold, Hudson-Smith got the silver, Muzala Samakonga got the bronze. Then you saw Dream Richards and Karani James get 4th and 5th place, all of them running sub 44 seconds. As we've entered this year, we've seen a few different guys like Caleb McRae. We've seen Jacory Patterson. They've dipped under the 44-second barrier. Zakiti Nene. But some of the guys who actually got on the podium, they've had, interesting seasons overall. Hudson-Smith, he was dealing with some injuries. Quincy Hall, he's kind of started a little bit late. Muzala Samakonga, he's kind of had up and downs, right? So it's been interesting to just kind of watch the men's 400 unfold and see how things have been progressing as we get closer to the World Championships. I think this race in London is going to be another kind of like marker as to, okay, someone here is really going to stamp themselves as another step closer to potentially getting on the podium or potentially becoming a gold medalist. Look at this field. Hudson-Smith, first off, the silver medalist from last year at the Olympic Games. He also, of course, got the silver at the World Champs in 2023. And his goal this year, his solitary goal, right? Of course, he has tons of goals, but he wants to get a gold medal. He has been competing at Worlds and Olympics since 2016. Someone could fact check me. I don't know if he was in Beijing 2015. Cross check me on that. But he's been here for a while. He's the veteran, and he has been getting faster and faster. He's already run 44.10 this year. He won the Prefontaine Classic about 2 weeks ago. He is looking to get another win here. If we remember last year at the London Diamond League, Hudson-Smith ran 43.8 or 43.9. So this, of course, is his quote-unquote home track in the sense that, he got the British crowd behind him, and he's looking to solidify himself and maybe separate a little bit more as well. Because, again, the conversation and the outlook for the men's 400 is a little bit muddy right now. So I think Matthew is really going to want to assert himself. But who did I mention has already gone sub 44? Zakiti Nene from South Africa. He's already run 43.76 this year. Makes him, number 4 all time when talking about African sprinters. From who you have Wade Van Niekerk with the world record. You have Isaac Makwala, who's run 43.7. And you have Muzala Samakonga, who's run 43.7. So Zakiti Nene, just second, 43.76. He last ran in Italy about a month ago where he ran 44.2 seconds. So he's, looking to get back into form, maybe insert himself right back into the conversation. Do not sleep on what he's capable of. I think he's a serious threat to get on the podium this year. Also in the field, you have bronze medalist Muzala Samakonga. He's already run 44.4, when talking about on the Grand Slam track circuit. He's run on the Diamond League. So he's, of course, one who's going to be building up as we get into the World Champs, some of the other guys. Vernon Norwood, he is always a gamer. He finished second place at a race down in, I think it was in Italy, right? So he just is coming off that. He's always going to be looking to make that USA team. It's going to be tough. We'll talk about that, in a couple weeks. But Bapu Ndori, earlier this year, he was the world leader, really early in February, March or so. He's kind of taken a step back. He did win one of the Diamond Leagues early in the season, one of the Chinese Diamond Leagues, but he is someone who's been competing for so many years, but he hasn't been able to get on the podium. He is another one who's looking to get on that podium. A lot of these African sprinters, between Zakiti Nene, between Samakonga, between Bapu Ndori, Kebanat Shipi, Luengo Scott, you have a lot of guys who are trying to get on the podium when talking about the 400 from African nations. But, we'll see how that plays out. Again, Kebanat Shipi is in this field. Charles Dobson, Reese Holder. So very strong 400-meter field across the board, but eyes for me are on Hudson-Smith. Is he able to go a little bit faster than his 44.1? Is he able to break 44 seconds? And is he going to get the win in this race? That's who I'm kind of looking out for. Now, after that, shout out to Julien Alfred running the 200. Actually, let me dive in because Julien Alfred in the women's 200, she is the favorite in this race. She's already run 21.88. In the 100, she's run 10.7 on, 3 different occasions, right, this year already. So she's been so consistent across the board that it's hard to say that anyone in this field is actually going to be able to take her down. Now, she does have other strong competitors who, on paper, should be able to challenge her, but Julien Alfred is on another level. I think the question here is, how fast is she able to go? Is she able to match and or surpass this mark? Or is she just going to run around 22 low or 21 high again or something like that and just cruise through as she prepares for the world champs. A couple people that I'm keeping an eye out for. Shout out to Ashanti Moore from Jamaica. She is looking to get she won the Jamaican national championships, but she needs to get a qualifying mark. She doesn't have the qualifying standard, which I think is 22.5, or someone could fact check me. I apologize. Forget the exact qualifying standard, but she doesn't have the standard yet. She's looking to get it. You have Rashida Adeleke. Adeleke hasn't looked too strong across the board this year. It's been really interesting seeing her progression, specifically in 2025. She hasn't looked like the Adeleke from 2023 when she was in NCAAs, when 2024 when she made 4th place at the Olympic Games in the 400. But we'll see how she kind of does continue to progress. And it's interesting that she's still kind of dipping and dabbling in the 200s and the 400s. My assumption is that she's going to run the 400 at Worlds, but who knows, right? But Dean Asher-Smith also in here. Another one who hasn't looked as great when talking about the 2025 season. She has run 10.9 this year already. I think 10.93 or so. But when talking about holistically, she hasn't looked as strong. Last year at the Olympic Games, she did get 4th place in the 200. And she hasn't been on the podium since 2022 at the World Championships, where she got bronze in the 200. Since then, 2023, she made the 100-meter final, didn't make the 200 final, if I'm correct. 2024, she didn't make the 100-meter final at the Olympics, made the 200-meter final. She's had such an up and down season. Considering she's a world champion in the 200, it's really hard to tell like how things are going, especially since moving down to Texas to train with Coach Flo. But it is what it is. We'll see. Amy Hunt, shout out to the progress that she's been making. Tori Lewis, always someone in the convo. Daryl Nita, she's been dealing with injuries and setbacks and, change of coach. So, we'll see how she does progress. But Julien Alfred, eyes on her. Can she surpass her season's best? And I guess how dominant will this race be, right? Will she actually really assert herself as a true, maybe gold medal threat in this 200? She has some competition. We'll talk about that another time. But yeah, shout out to Julien Alfred. Also, women's 400-meter hurdles is another event that I do like. Now, we don't have Dalilah Muhammad. Of course, we don't have Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone. We don't have Anna Cockrell. But we do have a few names that I'm keeping an eye out for. Femke Bol, is she going to improve on her 51.95 season's best world leading performance? She just ran that at the Monaco Diamond League, so she ran really strong there. Is she going to be able to improve upon that here? She has run fast in London in the past, but what will she be able to do? She runs very frequently on the Diamond League circuit. No one is really going to be able to touch her since Sydney is not in the race, but I'm looking to see how she kind of does assert herself as the season progresses. She's never one who's scared to, put down a fast time or put down a really strong marker, throughout the entire season, right? It seems like she's always working on things, but never like, okay, I need to back off and only run a little bit. Nah, she looks like she's always in the mix to really push herself. So interested to see how fast she's able to go. And again, we're still waiting on the decision about Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone on if she runs the 400 or the 400 hurdles. I know that people came at me for saying that Femke is hoping that, Sydney runs the 400. I didn't mean it like that. Femke does like the competition and she wants to be pushed. But of course, on paper, it's clear that there's an easier path to the gold medal if Sydney is not running. Femke is the class of the field, behind Sydney. So we'll see. But interested to see what she does here. Also, Jasmine Jones. Jasmine Jones is in an interesting situation because the 400-meter hurdles for the women is looking very competitive, and she is one of those names in the mix. But I would say, and I said it the last time, that Dalilah Muhammad and Anna Cockrell are probably the top two, again, excluding Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone. You have Dalilah and Anna. They've run 52 seconds this year. Jasmine, Shamir, you have Kayla Garrett, you have Rachel Glenn. There's a couple women who are in that conversation based on what we've seen this year. Jasmine came off of injury, I think 2 injuries this year, and went to Grand Slam Track Philly, finished 2nd place as her first race in that 400 hurdles. So her first Diamond League for the year. Let's see how she actually does pan out. Shout out to all the other women. Anjanette Knight has been consistent. Geneve Russell, she made the team to the World Champs, but she's hasn't been as strong in the recent years. You have Gianna Woodruff who's in the mix. Lena Nielsen, so relatively consistent field. But Femke Bol, I have my eyes on her, and Jasmine Jones. Those are the two that I'm kind of looking at to see what they're actually able to put down. Specifically Jasmine Jones, because she needs to make Team USA. And it's going to be a dogfight when we get to Eugene in a few weeks. Now, let's move over to just a few other competitions. Men's long jump. I am excited for this field. This is a stacked men's long jump field. Miltiades Tenteglu, world champion, defending world champion, and Olympic champion. Wayne Pinnock, defending Olympic silver medalist and world silver medalist. Kerry McLeod, He got the World Indoor silver medal from 2024, right, last year, and he got 4th place at the World Championships back in 2023, right? You have Tajay Gale, 2019 World Champion. Mattia Furlani, he's an Olympic bronze medalist and got the he got the gold medal at the World Indoors this year. You have Simon Ehammer. You have Liam Adok. Like, so many guys are in this competition. I am looking to see how Kerry McLeod is able to bounce off of what he did at Jamaican Trials and continue to build momentum going to the World Championships. Kerry McLeod is very motivated. He wants to get on the podium, if not win gold at the World Championships in Tokyo later this summer. And he knows that he has to go through this field, but he wants that gold medal. He wants that gold. He wants a podium spot. That 4th place from 2023, that hurt. Like, that hurt. So I know he is motivated. You also have Mattia Furlani. Furlani has been the young guy. He got the gold medal at World Indoors, and he is looking to improve, you know, from the bronzes that he got last year and all that. Like, he wants to maintain the top spot that he's had, again, since World Indoors in that kind of sense. But he's been making a lot of progress. Miltiades Tenteglu, two-time defending Olympic champion, defending world champion. He's been having some, I guess, sponsor issue. I don't want to say issues, but, you know, he's been changing sponsors and all that. So he hasn't been looking as great this year as well, but he's already jumped 8.46. Right, so he's again getting back into the conversation. Essentially, indoors he hasn't had the greatest kind of season, but he's always one you can never count out. He is one of the most clutch long jumpers that you will ever see competing. But Wayne Pinnock, we know that Wayne Pinnock has been dealing with the whole, you know, issues of moving to Turkey. Check out the full video breakdown I did of that when that occurred. But he, you know, assumingly he's not going to compete at these World Championships. Well, assumingly he's not going to compete, right? He's not representing Jamaica, but he is someone you can never count out in these competitions. Simon Ehammer, he has been a mainstay as well. Like, this is a guy who you do not want to sleep on. Liam Adok has been kind of on the rise, representing Australia. Like, this is a stacked long jump field that's really hard to parse out, but I think will provide us with a good idea of what to expect when we get to the World Championships. Basically, all the top guys are here. Shout out to Juan Miguel Echevarria, who's jumped very far this year already. Really consistent, coming back from injury and, you know, transfer of allegiance situations. He's going to be in the mix, but this field is going to give us a good indication, in my opinion, on what the long jump might look like when we get to the World Champs. Now, finally, a couple other competitions, but we do have the women's long jump. We're not going to see like Tara Davis-Woodhall. We saw some good competitions a few weeks back, but Clara Bryant, she has been super, super consistent. Larissa Iapicino, someone who I think is in contention for obviously a medal, but like she has that gold medal potential. I think Tara Davis-Woodhall is clearly the favorite, right? But I feel like Larissa Iapicino has a lot of untapped potential, and she's very, very young, right? Katarina Johnson-Thompson, of course, she's the multi-eventer. She's looking to see what she can do in the long jump here. Maleka Mihambo is in this field. She's, of course, the previous Olympic champion, Olympic silver medalist from Paris. She's in here. Monet Nichols, Jasmine Sawyers, coming off of injury, right? She's been getting back into the mix. Very stacked field across the board that I'm excited to see, you know, how these women are able to really put their foot down. Shout out to Hillary Kapcha. I'm actually not too familiar with her, but she's jumped over 7 meters this year, and that's something that cannot be looked over. So shout out to all the women in the long jump here. Overall, really strong competitions. Of course, you do have the high jump on the women's side. You have Yaroslava Mahuchik. She did lose one of her last competitions, not to Patterson, but to the other, Australian athlete. Lamar Diston is in the field, right? Levchenko is always in the conversation. Morgan Lake, shout out to the progress that she's made over the past couple of years. Like Kulichenko, who's probably one of the stronger jumpers as well. I think she missed out making the final at the Olympic Games last year due to some injury, but very strong field across the board with the women's high jump. But overall, quick preview of the London Diamond League going down tomorrow, Saturday, in London. It's going to be one of the last Diamond Leagues that we have before, you know, we have national championships, and then the Diamond Leagues return in August. So let me know what you think. Again, check out the men's 100 meter preview that I already did, but be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. Truly, truly appreciate your support. Thanks for watching.